Greetings, comrades, and welcome to the Rad Gaming Podcast. I'm Pescador.
And I'm Jemshi. And in this episode, we interview Litt1eR3d. Litt1eR3d embraces the world of gaming by working as a social media manager at a game company, and also works as a partner streamer on Twitch. We go into a creative side on how creativity has allowed her to stay motivated and engaging week after week on Twitch. We also get her insight on how her day job in social media has benefited her growth on her own social media accounts, and what type of posts garner her the most engagement.
This episode of the podcast is sponsored by Litt1eR3d. Litt1eR3d is a lifestyle fashion brand that sees beauty and cultural heritage and always strives to offer timeless and elegant style. Visit Litt1eR3d.com to join the family. That's CENTO-FIORI.com.
And the Rad Gaming Podcast is now a part of Big Heads Media. And with that, let's get on to the podcast. All right, so thanks so much for coming on to the podcast. We really appreciate it.
No problem. I'm excited.
All right, so why don't you go ahead and give us a little bit of background before you started being, streamer on Twitch?
Sure. So, I first of all, my name is Zoe, but I go by Litt1eR3d on Twitch and pretty much every social platform. Little background, I grew up playing video games with my mom and my brother, and I went to school for animation, but halfway through school, I was like, I like video games way better. So I started studying more about video games. I went to grad school for game design, and while I was in grad school, that's kind of when I started Twitch streaming, because I needed to take a break from grad school. So I wanted to do something fun. And so I started streaming on Twitch, and it kind of just took off from there. Once you get that ball rolling and it starts picking up speed, you really can't stop it. So
it's definitely a snowball.
Yeah, exactly. So now, over a year, it's been a little over a year, I think a year and a half. A year and a half later, I am partnered on Twitch. I have a job at a game studio. So I have a full-time job, and then I do part-time streaming. And that's basically like a really quick synopsis.
So you said that you did animation. I'm interested. Was this animation for like films, like film animation, or?
Yeah, I really wanted to work for Pixar. Like, literally everyone else who goes to school for animation really also wants to work for Pixar. And I'm terrible at animating. Like, absolutely terrible. Like, horrendously awful. So that's why I was like, maybe this isn't for me. But yeah, I initially wanted to go for like animated features and like television shows.
Gotcha. Do you still have stuff that you posted on like possibly YouTube, or is that all hopefully scorched from the earth that it sounds like?
No, I think everything's on like Vimeo still.
Why Vimeo over YouTube?
Because it's harder to find.
Clever, because you're like, well, it's on there. You can always link to it.
It's somewhere on the internet. I put it on Vimeo just because, like, also Vimeo is heavily used for art, like, in, like, 2014. So I just put it all there, and I was like, it's fine, it can live there. And I think I've only privated, like, one video. I think everything else is pretty free range.
Yeah, the one thing I like about Vimeo, the one thing that I've seen from Vimeo that I like is that they have password videos where you have to enter a password to see the video. And I would like for YouTube to have something like that, because that seems really, for me, that's kind of cool. I mean, I have no idea what I'd use that for, but
yeah, in school we used it for projects. So you'd have to like put it up there, and then you'd give the password to like your professor. So I would also like YouTube to have that. It might be nice, especially if you're like a streamer or you have a Patreon or something. I don't have a Patreon, but like if you had a Patreon, you could like give your patrons or your subs the password to the video, and they would get exclusive content.
Yeah.
like first, and then you could post it public like a week later. But you can't do that on YouTube. Once you have a link, everyone can have the link.
The link gets out there, and that's the thing with the password. I guess you'd have to like cycle through the password or something. Be like, oh, the password this week is this, and then you'd be able to access that.
So, but even then, people probably share it though too. So I mean, that's the rough part about it. So
yeah, so I wanted to. So how did you get into game design? What was the like moment that made you? Because you said that you were like, oh, I didn't think that this animation wasn't for me. Was it animation wasn't for you, or did you like the appeal of going into game design?
Well, initially, I didn't even really know that like game design was like a job you could have. Like, I don't know why I didn't think that, because obviously someone has to make the games, but it really didn't like click in my head until I went to school that had a game design program. And I got super into 3D modeling while I was doing animation. And the only electives that they had for 3D modeling were in the game design department. So you had to go take Intro to Gaming if you wanted to take a 3D modeling elective. So I took Intro to Gaming, and I was like, wait a minute, I totally dig this. Like, this is cool.
Yeah.
So those intro classes will get you. But yeah, so I started doing that, and then the more game design electives I took, the more I really liked it. But it was too far into my degree to like switch my major without being stuck in school for like 3 more years. So I kind of just like suffered through my last year of undergrad as an animation student, and then I went back to school for grad school.
Was that because I did it that way? Do more game design? Like you kind of wanted to like finish it off in a more game design like focused degree with the masters, or was that always the plan to go for the masters? I'm just kind of curious.
No, it was literally just because like I didn't think I could get a job with just an animation degree. So because they probably would expect me to be doing animation, and I was like, I have nothing. So I went back to school to try and get. I wanted to learn more about game design, and also I wanted to have like a concrete like degree of evidence that I like know what I'm doing.
Right, a lot more focus. It looks like it worked out because you got the game studio job, which I think is actually really cool. I know a lot of because I'm a programmer, and that's like a lot of programmers' dreams is to work at a game studio developing games. Yeah. But the reality is that the number of programmers out there in the world and the number of game development jobs are just like the competition is just too fierce.
Yeah. And I work at a game studio, and I actually do social media for the game studio that I work at, because which isn't exactly a game design job, but it's at a game studio, so you gotta start somewhere.
The experience is what matters most.
Yeah, no. I mean, everyone usually starts in QA, and I desperately wanted to not be anywhere near QA because it's not a fun job at all. So
I know that.
I took a backdoor into the game industry. But social media is kind of fun because I still get to do some art stuff. I do stuff in like Photoshop. I do like video editing because I need content for the posts that I make. And sometimes that content is readily available from the devs, and then sometimes it's not. And they're busy making games, so they can't be concerned with like meme culture. So I'll be making my own memes in Photoshop.
Twitch or no, excuse me, the social media knowledge from your job. Do you find that you can translate this well over when you have your Twitch? Because obviously you need to have your own social media presence with Twitch. As Litt1eR3d. That you kind of translate. Do you find that helps?
Yeah, it kind of helps vice versa, because I got my job because of my Twitch channel, and my job also helps me get my Twitch channel. Well, I mean, like, it helps. Like, I put it on my resume. I also did like streaming and like community help for an esports organization. So I put that on my resume as well. So really, like, the fact that I could build my own community on Twitch, help run a community for an esports organization, both of those things kind of like put me in the right spot to get the job that I have. And
I know a lot of people listening to this podcast are probably going to start thinking like, oh man, my Twitch channel is now going to get me a job at a game studio. Like they're all...
Yo, it could. You need to like, I heard it from another streamer. They were the ones who told me that I should be putting stuff on my resume. Because initially I was leaving Twitch out of it. I didn't put anything on my resume about live streaming.
Yeah, like why would, like, I mean, in my opinion, it's shocking that it actually worked, and that's a great thing. But like, in my opinion, if I were to go in for like a professional job, putting Twitch streamer on there would be kind of something I think I would probably leave out as well.
Yeah. I put content creator Twitch, like, and I like finagled it with some fancy words. And basically, I mean, I also just listed what I do on my channel, which is, you know, I created and manage a community of people. I have to make social media posts. I have to engage with people. I have to answer questions. I have to be entertaining. I have to edit videos, make highlights. I mean, it's
right.
When you break it down, when you break it down into like concrete job like abilities, it starts to sound more and more like a real job rather than I play video games on the internet.
Yeah.
So
you said you make memes?
I make memes. I try.
What kind of memes do you make?
Oh gosh. I either take an already existing meme and I try to make it work for our game, or I try and craft my own meme, which is a lot harder because like meme culture is very finite and
is
like
the game
exact.
Mobile, or is it like a console or platform or PC?
It's the game that we just launched is on console. It's on PS4 and PC. It's a VR and non-VR title, so you can play it either way.
Yeah, we were just talking in our previous podcast how we were like looking for, you know, like how we always like hope that people were developing VR games or just kind of like at least trying to attempt that space. So it's kind of cool that we're like, oh, we're actually hearing there are game companies out there that are actually at least considering VR.
Yeah.
The question I have for you is, are you using the Keanu Reeves like E3 like presentation? Are you using that for any of your memes? Because that's literally everywhere right now.
I know it's honestly it's in a lot of places. I don't know if we're jumping on that bandwagon right now, but we could use it. I used the Nega Oryx meme, the one where she like was playing Last of Us and she killed that or the game killed the bunny rabbit and she like cried. I used that for one of our things.
I'm sure she loves it too, because she's like, okay, I hate that everyone's trying to do this, but I'm getting so noticed. Like I'm sure her popularity just popped because of that.
Well, she's also such a lovely person, so anytime anyone memes her, as long as it's not like, you know, offensive, like they're just having fun, she's a good sport about it.
So what games did you start out streaming?
Oh gosh, I started streaming, well, technically there's two beginnings of my Twitch channel that one I know about and one like it's not documented on Twitch. For whatever reason, Twitch says that I started streaming in November of 2017, which is true. But I technically started streaming in June of 2017 or July. It was like end of June, beginning of July.
Yeah, sounds like you got some explaining to do. We're all right.
Yeah, right.
I went to E3 in 2017 and with my brother, and we were at an indie booth and they were demoing a game, and my brother was playing this game on expert mode, which they warned him was like impossible. And of course, my brother is like an idiot savant at video games. So he just like creamed the whole level, like took it out real fast, like awesome. no biggie, like legit was just like pew 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 and everyone was dead. And so the guy at the booth was like, yo, dude, like that's crazy. Like, do you stream? Like, are you a pro gamer? Like, blah, blah, blah. And my brother, who like literally just plays in his room like was like, no, like me on camera, no thank you. Like I'm good. I just play video games for fun. And then he pointed at me and he was like, my sister is actually someone who would stream because she's like funny and entertaining and like she likes all that shit. And I'm like, no, like I don't stream. Nope, not me. So we went home that summer and we told my stepdad this story. My stepdad was like, well, you guys should stream. Like, why don't you do it? We have cameras and video games and a computer. Like, it's fine. Like, you should do it. So my channel originally started with me and my brother streaming together as like a duo sibling bandwagon. Because he didn't want to stream by himself. I didn't want to stream by myself. And we thought that the whole like bickering siblings would be funny content.
I can imagine that would be.
Right. And also we were heavily into Hey Ash, What You Playin'? When like over the years, which if you don't know what that is, it's like a YouTube series. It's from like her brother wrote Borderlands and like Borderlands 2 or something like that. I think it was both of them. I know he wrote the first one, but he might have written the second one too. And she does the voice for Tiny Tina. And they had this YouTube series like way back in the day where it was like they would make skits about video games from like a brother-sister perspective. But it was always focused more on like what she was playing, which is why I really liked it, because it wasn't about a dude playing video games. It was about like siblings playing a video game, but mostly like he was asking her, what are you playing? And so we kind of like took that into consideration as to like where we wanted to go with this whole like streaming thing. Of course, my brother moved in with his girlfriend and got engaged very quickly after we started. So he just stopped streaming with me. What a butt. No, he got super busy. So like he wouldn't be able to stream with me a lot. So I tried streaming by myself. I felt really awkward. And then grad school started and I got super busy and I just kind of put it down and didn't touch it for a while. And then
down sounds intense.
Yeah. And then in November, I my camera is having fun. Okay. In November, it was finals. Finals had just ended. I was like super like over school. And I attempted to stream by myself. I think I played The Vanishing of Ethan Carter as like my first stream back. And that was like the start of me streaming. And that's when Twitch says I started streaming. It says that I started streaming like in November. So everything before that is a lie, apparently.
Didn't exist.
Yeah. And then after that, I consistently was streaming Sims 4 and Don't Starve Together.
Oh,
but mostly Don't Starve Together. That was like my staple. I had like a hat, like the winner hat in Don't Starve, but it had like a patch on it that said Don't Starve or Don't Starve on it. And so I would wear my hat and I would play the game.
Who was your character that you would pick normally?
It was Willow, the girl with the pigtails.
That was a good one. I got really into that game. That game was extremely fun, very addicting. And then like you don't get any payoff at the end because then like if you die, it's just over.
Yeah, and I think solo playing that game, I've made it 124 days, but I got too freaked out by how long I lasted that I haven't touched it because I don't want to die and lose it. So it's kind of just like sitting in the ether of my game files. And then, yeah, I mean, pretty much on Don't Starve Together, you basically just die and restart over and over again.
Right.
I always
come back to it and suddenly be like, oh, I forgot about that. And then you're,
Yeah.
But is there any, I I guess, obstacle that you had to overcome when you started streaming by yourself that you didn't actually see coming, maybe?
I mean, like, it was mostly just trying to talk when like no one's in chat. When you first start out streaming, it's very awkward and you're very alone. I was the type of person who didn't want to tell my friends and family that I streamed, because I like my family knew that I streamed, but like I didn't post that on like Facebook, you know, like I didn't want my friends being my audience. I wanted to try
your parents the link, like, come watch me and...
come watch me. I wanted to try and get those like milestones on my own, which that's not to like, you know, knock down anyone who gets their friends to bolster their start. But for me personally, I wanted to try and see if streaming could be a thing that I did because people liked my content, not because I got everyone on Facebook to click on my link. So I just kind of had to get used to talking to myself and like describing what I was doing as I was doing it, making jokes, even though there was no one around to laugh at them, which is why now my channel has turned into me just making really cringy, terrible jokes that I know no one should laugh at, but I think they're funny.
Now it's your style.
Now it's like my thing to make really horrible jokes that are like not funny at all. But you know, when you already don't have people in the room laughing, you can make a joke, and it's not, the lack of laughter does not mean it's not funny. It's probably not funny, but you don't have proof that it's not funny because no one's here.
Well, if you're the only one on camera, if you're laughing at your own joke, everyone watching is like, well, like, someone's laughing. They must be.
It might be funny. Yeah. So.
Oh, so with oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, plus the Don't Starve community is great. Like there's so many people that play Don't Starve on Twitch that are just like super friendly and like will come into your chat and play with you. So
yeah, that's what I was about to ask. Is that, do you think that those games were the ones that helped you kind of gain that following? Because you've got all the way up to Twitch partner, and obviously that's not something that just happened by accident. You've put in a lot of the work to get to that point, and I think a lot of people, from the outside looking in on Twitch, always seem to forget, or not even forget, just like don't even seem to notice that it's not just turning on the camera and, you know, playing the video games that people just come in and they're like, oh, cool. You know, like, you had to put all that work in. So do you think it was those games? Do you think social media, like, was that something that was on the forefront of your mind where you're like, I need to do stuff on social media, you know, memes and these kind of posts? I'm just kind of curious as to what you think led to people coming and finding your stream. And
yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of everything. Don't Starve and the community around Don't Starve definitely helped me get affiliated. Like, I played Don't Starve, and like I played like story games a lot because that's just typically what I like. I played a lot of Sims 4. The Sims 4 community also kind of helped me get affiliated because I got affiliated pretty quick. In terms of like, I didn't think it was I didn't think it was like super quick, but whenever I say like, oh, I got affiliated like after like a month, people are like, wait, what? Like, oh, there's my cat. If I say that, you know, apparently that's like kind of quick. So that was definitely like people who play Sims like watching other people play Sims. People who play Don't Starve also enjoy watching other people play Don't Starve, especially because you want to see how other people survive. But they definitely helped me get affiliated. Making friends with them helped, you know, boost my community. At the start, I think my first...
I just saw your cat like reach up and try to claw something on the... I guess that's on your table over there.
Yeah, He's not allowed in here when I stream because he causes trouble.
Is he that kind of cat that just like stares you in the face and you're like, don't knock that over, and he just goes, knock something over? Okay.
Yeah.
What's your cat's name?
His name's B.
B?
Yeah.
Is there... Yeah.
Just the letter.
Just because? Just there's no interesting story
well,
behind
it? When I got him his shelter name, which I can't remember exactly what it is, but it started with a B, and I hate
Bartholomew.
My stepdad calls him Bartandalus. That's not his name, but that's what my stepdad calls him. But yeah, it's like started with a B, and I just hated the name so much, but I was too lazy to change any of the medical records, so I just kept that name, and then I just shortened it and just call him B.
Yeah, I've noticed that with a lot of shelter names from when you get your pets. I feel like no one ever feels like they like the original name the pet was given.
Oh my god, because they're terrible.
I don't know what happens to these shelters where they're like, okay, I'll give.
I think they just stare at stuff and just like start naming things.
Yeah, like the names are just like horrendous. Like they're not even cute. Like they're just terrible names.
I know there's a shelter near me where they had to like post for like, oh, we need suggestions for new names, and I'm like, I guess like they just like don't want to reuse something because they don't want to be like, oh, we've had so many maxes come through or something on there.
Yeah, I don't know. Like every time you go in, they're like, and this cat's name is Carpet, and you're like, who named that cat? Like, what are you trying to do?
I guess they were like Aladdin, where they loved like he's got Carpet, his friend, and they're like, oh, and then the cat lays on the floor like a carpet.
It's like a carpet. You're just like, no, terrible name, terrible, trash, garbage.
And then they're like, oh, trash is a good name. Garbage is.
Yeah, garbage.
Yeah.
Actually, I would totally name my cat Garbage, especially if he like crawled into the trash a lot. Like I just call him a garbage cat.
Wasn't that on The Office or something? That did you ever see The Office?
Yes, I love.
Didn't Dwight call like he got Angela's replacement cat and he's like, this cat's name is Garbage because I found him rolling around the garbage. He's like, he likes to eat garbage.
He likes to eat garbage.
Okay, I'm just making sure I wasn't going crazy. That's just
I think that's actually in the show. Yeah.
Sorry about
but yeah. So tangents. But yeah. I Don't Starve helps. Networking super helps. Making friends with and not networking to improve your channel, but networking just to make friends and learn. It's not self-serving. It can be self-serving. It absolutely can be self-serving. I don't think it's a win-win. I don't think I'd be where I am without networking. However, I didn't go into networking being like, hey, if I make friends with this person, I'm going to get many, many followers. Like, no, like I made friends with that person because I liked their content.
Right.
And I figured I could learn something from them. Right. And then what helped me get partnered though was Just Dance. Like
Just Dance.
Right,
yeah.
I know that's a very popular game because I think a lot of I think it's just easier for people to kind of get into. It's a game that even if you're not very into games, you can, like if
it's a game for everyone.
Right.
But I actually play, which I feel like is a big discrepancy on Twitch. There are some people that quote play Just Dance, and really they sit in the Just Chatting directory and they have Just Dance in the background. That's not playing the game.
I didn't even know that was a thing. I thought everyone actually played the game.
And then there are Just Dancers who are content creators who play Just Dance, and they actually
get good. Like they've got like actual like they kind of you can like memorize the song or like choreograph is it choreograph is the right word?
Yeah, you can choreography.
You can remember the choreography.
That's right. I was close. But I know like a lot of people like they kind of like put their own twist and stuff into it. I love when you like find like professional dancers on there and they got like their cool spins and stuff, and you're just like, this is how I imagine Just Dance to be, and like that's why I love watching those Just Dance streamers.
Yeah.
Oh man, I couldn't do Just Dance. I am deathly afraid of showing people my moves or lack thereof moves. So yeah, I don't really have moves. I'm not even gonna lie. I know Jemshi, he actually takes dancing lessons. What is it? I can't remember.
To teach for a little bit. I didn't even really know how that was one of those weird things because I was doing swing dance and I also kind of do salsa dance.
Swing dance is what it was.
Yeah, but I was just out and about one time swing dancing and somebody was just like, "You're really good. Do you want to come and help us?" And I was like, "Why? Like that's weird."
Sure.
Yeah, but I didn't get like paid or anything, which I probably should have been like, "Hey, where's that money?" But I was like, "Oh, sure, whatever," because I didn't think it was anything of it. And I mean, it was just like, I don't know. I guess I just made new friends is kind of how I thought about it.
Yeah.
But I thought that was, I don't know. I wouldn't say that I'm great, but I guess some people think so.
Wow. All right, modest there, Jemshi. Very modest.
When somebody asked me that, I was
Some people think I'm great.
well, yeah,
Some people.
I never
I'm
thought
just giving you a
about.
hard time.
Like,
I guess it's okay. I mean, I feel like I'm the same way too, because like people are like, "Oh, you're so good at this game," and I'm like, "Sure."
Yeah, like imagine if someone were to come in your stream and like, oh my gosh, do you want to do like a tutorial like how to dance on play this Just Dance game and stuff? Like you'd be like, okay, like I don't really.
Yeah,
That's how I felt. I was like, I don't feel like that was never on my radar.
I don't feel qualified for this.
I was like, I'm just like this is the average. I'm not, That's how I always felt. Like I guess like I always look to see what like the more professional swing dancers do, and I can kind of like, like, oh, I want to try that one move because I can't do all 50 million that they do. So you like try one or two, and you kind of implement those while you're dancing. So I don't know.
So you did a lot of stuff for the game studios. They did a lot of social media. Have you ever noticed that one specific type of marketing scheme that you've tried works more than others? Like, is it mostly memes that you do that really work and get like people's attention, or is it maybe some kind of positive quote or something you put out there, or what really gets people engaged?
Yeah, I mean, for work, I'm still figuring it out. Marketing games is like, it's tricky.
Can imagine.
Because like different sites, crave different kinds of content. For Twitch and like my own brand and stuff, the stuff that people usually like are memes, or clips that really. If you landed a joke really well or something funny happened on stream, like clips will go viral real quick. Just if they're funny or entertaining or. Gotcha. So yeah, it's a bit of everything. Okay, bye, cat.
So what's your best dad joke then? Since you have jokes, you said you
dad joke.
Yeah. Well, what's your favorite joke in general?
My life? No, I'm just
Touche.
So you do got jokes.
I think my favorite dad joke to do on stream is when people leave chat, like when they have to, they'll put like BRB, and then they'll come back and they'll be like, "Hi, I'm back," and I usually just go, "Hi, I'm Litt1eR3d."
Oh boy.
And that's like that's like a staple dad joke in my stream. Like we all do it to everyone. It's just usually like, like, "Nice to meet you back. And then you introduce yourself, and that's kind of like,
why did I even bother coming back?
Yeah, they're like, and I'm leaving again. But a lot of my jokes are like circumstantial. Like, I'll make jokes or puns like based on the gameplay.
Or
or
a pun lover.
I'm a pun. Oh yeah, I'm pun queen. I just make way too many, and they're all terrible.
Oh man, I love puns. Well-placed puns are the best.
Yeah, there's a lot. I streamed Layers of Fear 2 last night, and I was making a lot of puns because I tend to make jokes when I'm scared. So I just like kept word vomiting horrible comedy because I was trying to keep myself calm.
Maybe that's what I need to do. I have a horrible time playing horror games, and
Yep.
I haven't even considered like, the possibility of maybe trying to cope with it. I just said I can't do it, so I'm not playing these games.
I also sometimes if the game's too scary, I'll get a friend to be on voice chat because even them laughing at me will make the gameplay just a little bit easier to get through.
I feel like that would make me even more scared because like I'd be sitting there like really tensed up, and then they'd be like, "Is it?" And you're like, "Ah!" Like they just start like all day. You're like, "Oh, is everything okay?" You're like, "Ah!"
Yep.
He is the jumpiest person ever. Like we'll get in a Discord call and I won't say anything just right off the bat because I won't have my headset on or I'll have my mic muted, or he'll forget that I'm even there sometimes. And I'm like, "Dude, what are you doing?" And he'll be like, whoa, dude. Like he's super jumpy. It's actually really funny. So I do have to say that he's probably right about someone else being on the other line. But why do you put yourselves in the situations if you're super like nervous and scared to begin with? Like I hate being stressed out. That's like the one thing I hate. But then again, I guess I play like stressful games here and there. But what makes you play those types of games?
the need for good content. I have a love-hate relationship with horror games. For whatever reason, it's kind of like I have a love-hate relationship with like horror movies. Like beforehand, you like really don't want to do it. You don't want to play or you don't want to watch. Like you know it's a bad idea.
Yep.
During, you're like so tense and so like uncomfortable and like scared and adrenaline and terror. Like it's all gross. And then afterwards, though, like thinking back, you're like, oh my god, that was so much fun.
I don't think I've ever had that.
And it's like an endless cycle. Because I mean, like I played Outlast, and I played it with my friend on voice chat with me, and I was terrified the whole time. It was a terrifying game. And then I'm editing the video later on, like weeks. It's been weeks and weeks later. I'm editing the video to make like a clip montage out of it. And I'm like, this is hilarious. This is so funny. Like this was fun. Like we should do this again. Like this was hilarious stuff. And then so I played the DLC, and the whole time I'm playing the DLC, I'm like, why did I do this to myself? This is a horrible idea. So with Layers of Fear 2, I was like, maybe I probably shouldn't play. It's like super scary. I went to PAX East, and there was a demo of it at PAX East, and I'm waiting in line watching other people play this game, and I'm getting freaked out to the point where I actually left the line because I was like, I'm not playing this game and like screaming in the middle of a convention center. Like it's not happening. I refuse to play it. But then everyone was talking about it like the week before it came out. Everyone super excited about Layers of Fear 2, and I had like FOMO where I was like, maybe I do want to play it. It would be funny. I have scare alerts on my stream when I play horror games, which are basically like if someone tips me a certain amount of money or gives me a certain amount of bits, it will play a horror sound, which in practice is not fun. But it gives the community something to do, which is scare you. They have the ability to scare you and not just watch you get scared.
I'll throw tons of money.
That's interesting.
I've seen it across Twitch on several streams. It's kind of just like something fun. A lot of people do like custom alerts like for certain milestones. And I just was like, I did it for the first time during Halloween. For the whole month of October, I had scare alerts. Just even if I was playing Sims 4, I had scare alerts.
That sounds horrifying to me if I were to do that, but I'm sure it was great because I'm sure a lot of people they love to use that.
Oh, they love it. They absolutely love it. It's a great way to just freak someone out. I had one scare alert that is literally my least favorite. And it's because it's not a scream. It's not like any like big, loud, scary sound. It's someone whispering.
Oh.
And if you have headphones on and especially in a room where like if you have a green screen up, you can't see behind you. So like if you have headphones on and you're like in your little green screen space and you hear someone whisper, it sounds so real. And it just is the worst. It just makes you think someone is literally like right there.
So I guess I've seen that you analyze like other streams. Is that intentional? Is that like kind of entertainment, but while you're watching someone else's stream, you're kind of like picking one or two things or everything for all I know, that you're like, oh, this is something I would love to put in my stream. Like, is that something you do intentionally?
I mean, I don't really think I like go into a stream being like, what can I take from this person? I definitely go in to watch it for entertaining content. But if I see something that I really enjoy, that I think my community could also enjoy, I don't directly take the idea though, because like that's their content, that's like their original idea. If it's not original,
also, probably.
Yeah, it feels kind of scummy.
Like, you're not gonna be
so
yourself on stream anymore. You're like, all right, cool. I got all these things that Dr. Disrespect and
yeah, I'm just gonna start wearing a mustache and like and going into people's bathrooms. It's fine. No, I don't directly take their content, but I do try and figure out a way to do something similar or create a similar like experience by like, even if it has nothing to do with what they did, but I was inspired by what they did to like, if they make funny jokes, I'm not going to take their jokes, but maybe I'll start making similar funny jokes because I want my community to laugh. Like I want to give them that same experience of like comedy, not necessarily that I'm taking someone's jokes, but that I'm taking the idea of putting more comedy into my streams. Right. So like if what they're doing is not original at all, then I'm fine with just going along with the trend and like using it if it's good.
Right. I think like you said with the alerts, like you're not going to take their exact same alert because you're gonna be like, well, which ones would work for me? Which one am I going to be able to,
right.
be scared by? Like you kind of, can work that way.
Yeah, because I think I've seen some people use sounds that aren't scary, but when played at like unexpected times, they can be scary. I've seen people use and I've seen people use actual scary alerts. I tend to use a mix of both. Some of my scare alerts are scary noises, but like sometimes when I'm playing a scary game, my regular alerts will freak me out, which is even funnier because like
you're already it's like every time you hear something, your instinct is just to jump and be like, ah.
Yeah, it's a cute sound, but it freaked me out. That happened a few weeks ago. There was a jump scare in the game at the exact time that someone raided, and my raid message is Catbug from Bravest Warriors. So it's something super cute happening at a very scary time, and it freaked me out. And but it's like adorable. So it really shouldn't freak you out, but
absolutely. It just it goes to show you that when you're immersed in a game, like the slightest things can really change your mood like that. Mm-hmm. Have you ever noticed that maybe chat was getting unruly or anything like that? Have you ever had to, I guess, establish some boundaries in which, say, you should not do that in my chat? Or have you ever had to do that with any of your chat members?
Yes. Especially as a female streamer, it gets difficult at times. My community, like my actual community members, are very good people. They understand boundaries. They also understand the rules in my chat because they've been in my chat for a while. It's usually new people that we have problems with, or trolls that just come in just to be annoying. I have had a few instances where trolls are the type of people that I'm like, not like, I have to kind of lay down the law and be like, you are not welcome here because of that behavior. But as far as like community members go, I don't really have to do that a whole lot, which is good. Like I'm glad I'm cultivating a community of like people that, are reasonable and well behaved and are nice to each other and friendly and welcoming and all that.
So the question, you said you didn't have to do that a lot. So have you ever had to actually say something to one of your community members? And if so, how did you handle that?
Yeah. So for my actual community members, I there's been a few community members that, either have made other people uncomfortable with, how they respond to people or how they act in chat, and I usually just DM them and kind of just like confront them personally and not in front of everyone. I don't make a spectacle of it. Yeah. I just kind of talk to them person to person, and I'm like, hey, like this is what's going on, like it's not cool, these are the rules of the community. If you're not comfortable with that, like I totally understand, but maybe this isn't the place for you. If you are comfortable with that and you want to like change up how you're doing things, then you're more than welcome to come back. But But that's like dealing with like people with interpersonal problems, because when you're in a big community with a lot of people, you're gonna have some personal problems. With trolls, you just ban them. There's no talking. They're there to cause trouble, so you don't need to be reasonable with them.
Yeah, it sounds like you just kind of put like the least amount of effort you need. Kind of like, all right, if they're worth the effort to try to fix, or are they just going to, like, like what is their real goal here? Are they just trying to troll me? Then okay, then kick them out of there.
Yeah, depending on the severity, I'll either be comical towards them, or I'll be straight up like GTFO, like. But it obviously depends on how they're behaving.
So we talked a lot about your game development, your love for content creation in general on Twitch. What do you do in your spare time? What do you enjoy doing other than, those two or those few things?
Sleeping.
That's a good answer.
Sleeping, hanging out with my cat. Eating. I forget to eat a lot. That's why I made sure to eat dinner before this, because I knew that if I waited to eat afterwards, I would get to a point where I'm like, I'm tired and I'm just going to eat a handful of goldfish and go to bed, which is not the healthiest.
I have
we all do. We all struggle with that.
After this podcast, I'll be like, except I don't have goldfish. I made sure to, if I don't have anything, then I have to start cooking healthy. That's what I do to myself.
Yeah. There's other times that I find.
And then.
Go ahead. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Sometimes the connection clips out. So.
No, it's fine. I was just going to say sometimes I just don't eat anything because I'm too lazy because I don't have anything in the house on purpose. So I don't eat bad food. And then I'm like, I don't feel like cooking this and spending the time. So I'm just going to bed hungry. It's the worst. But
I've done that too. It also tends to happen if I accidentally take a nap and then I wake up and it's too late to cook something, or I don't have any food, but it's too late to get takeout because everything's closed except for fast food places, but I don't want to eat fast food because I typically don't eat fast food. So I just end up just being like, well, I guess I'm eating nothing, and then I go to sleep.
Then you get on the stream and you're like, all right, let's starve together.
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
Oh, I see what you did there. That was a good one.
Nice pun.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, in free time, I do go out. I don't just sleep in my free time. I feel like I don't have a lot of free time, though, because full-time job plus part-time streaming plus editing videos for YouTube plus sleeping. It doesn't leave a whole lot of free time, but
how do you even have time to sleep? I mean, you have all that your work, streaming, social media. That's a lot of stuff to juggle.
I know, but I kind of like it. I like being busy. But I do hang out with some of my coworkers. I just moved here a few months ago, so I don't know a whole lot of people, so I only know the people I work with.
I know the thing where you move somewhere and you're like, all right, well, what's there to do around here? And
people are like, nothing, and you're like, cool. Yeah, why do I live here?
What
great, can't wait to spend the rest of my life here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I'm I try, it's very difficult to meet new people. So I hang out with my coworkers a lot. And that's pretty much it.
So what do you have planned in the future? Because I know you have your stream and you also have your job. Is streaming something that you want to kind of take full time, or is it something that, I don't know if that's something you're still figuring out now. I don't want to put that pressure on you, but is that something
the pressure?
Yeah, because I know that you've reached partner. Is there something next for you in streaming, or is it where do you see yourself going from here?
I don't know. I really don't know. I kind of like to do everything. So any cool opportunity that comes along, I'm not gonna not go for. I definitely always want to keep pursuing working in games. Maybe it's not social media, maybe it's art, or maybe it's design, or maybe it's hosting or talking, or streaming, just literally anything in the game industry kind of intrigues me right now. So I don't know if I'd ever be a full-time streamer unless money was like popping, like, because I am too stressed, like I'm too like anal retentive to like put all of my eggs into a basket that's so iffy.
Volatile.
Well, not even volatile, but just like you can't depend on it. Like you never know the day that Twitch is just going to be done, and you never know the day that maybe even the channel is just done. Like
it's true.
You can't predict that. And living month to month, never making consistent money, or never knowing what you're going to make. Again, like there are streamers who get to the point where they can depend on streaming wholeheartedly without concern or worry or anything. And if I get to that point, then yeah, I'd totally do this full time. But like, I can't do that now. Like,
yeah, I know some streamers love the fact that it's not consistent, because they're like, oh well, I see when I put more work into my stream every month and I try more on social media, I get more people coming in and finding me. Like, I know a lot of people, they love that, but I think that's also where you see like the burnout, where they're like, they suddenly get to that point where they're like, oh, I'm plateauing, I was so used to just growing all the time. And I think it's also something you got to kind of consider, which is, I'm sure that's why you're like, oh well, I don't know if it's is it always an upward trend, or is it going to go down, or how do I know if it's going to go back up? And
yeah, and I've seen a lot of that too with my own channel. I mean, also, like you could put your all in one month and it just kind of flops. Like not every idea is going to be golden, and like the thought of, maybe coming up with like a super cool idea and putting all your time and effort into it and then having it not pan out the way you thought it was, like that's terrifying, because like what do you do that month for all your bills? It's just, there are people who get to a point who can be consistent and like kind of no matter what they do, they know that they can afford to do it, which that's awesome. And I'm sure every streamer wants to get to that point, but I'm not at that point. So it's not something that I typically am like, yeah, let's throw all of my eggs in this basket, because if I can't, if I don't make at least my bills if I don't make enough to pay my bills that month, one of us has to starve, and it's probably going to be me, because my cat will eat me in my sleep if I don't feed him. So, like, there's an issue there.
Yeah, it sounds like you kind of are, and like actually you're in a good spot though, because you're also trying to make sure that you're like, like you have the opportunities that Twitch could, provide to you. Like, okay, well maybe you could play, and then somebody's like reaches out to you, or you reach out. You know what I mean? Like there's the opportunities from Twitch, and then you've got, you're working in a game studio, so you have a lot of game opportunities, and like maybe you could find the mesh of the worlds. You have a lot. For me, I see that you have a lot of potential for opportunities coming your way that you probably
have a lot of feet in different places.
Yeah, it sounds like you've got like the ideal Twitch kind of career going for you right now, because I think you work with games so that you're always, you know what I mean, like you aren't when you're not on stream and you're working, you're not like still like isolated from Twitch. You know what I mean? Like for some people, they have to go in and then they have to say, hi, what would you like to eat or order or whatever. I haven't actually got that job, so I don't know what they say. But
what are you talking about? You buttered toast.
I was a cook. I don't have to actually. I was a cook at a barbecue restaurant, and I made toast. I didn't have to actually like interact with any people.
Just toast? You were just the toast guy.
See, I didn't know that was a job either.
Yeah, that's the funny thing is I was supposed to be a cook, and what ended up happening was they didn't trust me to do anything except the toast for some reason, and. I think it was just like I was a college kid, and they were like, "All right, this guy's just coming in here to make get his paycheck." And I think what was it? My favorite guy, Lance, was the one who taught me how to do stuff. He's like, "Oh, you don't know how to do anything? Like, let me show you." And he'd show me around. He's like, "Here's how to make nachos," and like I think what is
Push
it?
And then you just made nachos with toast, and then you opened up your own restaurant. It was just all toast, everything, but like made with.
Dude, he has a plan. He wanted to do a blender.
Yeah,
what was it?
It's a good idea is having like a restaurant where it's just
restaurant. That's what it is.
Kind of like Froyo, Yo My Goodness, or like Chipotle, where like you kind of like build your like what you want to put in the blender, and then they would like at the end they'd like blend it for you, and then they'd like hand you your smoothie that you wanted.
I think that'd be popular with older
Oh my
people.
god! I understand that could potentially work if only fruit and vegetables were out, but I don't know why. But my brain was just thinking of like buffet food, like pizza, chicken, like all kinds of like regular food that should not go in the blender, and then be like,
plan. Like I was
that's disgusting.
Well, see, I was.
That is so gross.
It was his dream. Don't crap on his dream.
That just makes me think of parents who are like, fine, if you won't eat your dinner, you can drink it, and then they take the whole like plate of food and they just.
That happened to you? That's horrifying. No. Oh my god.
That did not happen to me, but that was always like in television shows. Oh my god, no.
Did they? What television shows are you watching? I don't remember anyone be like, you could just eat this blended mess of food.
Well, now I know where my idea probably came from. Cause I don't like. But I think it was just because I was in college and I was just like, oh, blenders is so amazing. Like I just go to the store, buy some fruit, just throw it in there, and it just tastes great.
I think it also tastes great not in the blender. I don't know if you've ever tried fruit.
Well, yeah, I think it was just
That's true,
I had my parents were like, oh, you're gonna go to college. You know, what do you like? We'll give you like a toaster or blender, and I was like, oh, I'll take a blender.
Toaster.
That's so cool. Yeah, I should have taken the toaster, but
yeah, but he got his skills not obviously getting the toaster. He learned to butter toast from the toaster, right? That's fine. He's all good. Have you ever had an entrepreneurial idea? Because obviously he had one blender idea, so that's one great idea.
Oh God, I've had like a few like serious ideas that I was like, one day I'll be able to do this thing. In terms of like, I was always like that as a kid too. When I was like most kids like did like lemonade stands. I tried to make my own like Hallmark business. Like as like
making cards.
Yeah, like as an 8-year-old, I was like making cards, and I like made this like album of like different cards, and I like wanted people to like buy my like I had like thank you cards and like Thanksgiving cards and like Christmas cards and birthday cards, and I was like trying to be like Hallmark, and it didn't really work out. I probably should have gone with lemonade. I probably would have made more money.
Yeah, so you could have like had a different. See what I would have done I like when I was a kid,
blender stand.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, I want blue lemonade. I don't know. My favorite color is blue, so I was like, I want to have like food dye and make different colored lemonades.
Did you ever have the purple ketchup? Because I loved that.
I've heard of this. I've never had purple.
Easy
ketchup,
squeeze.
I had the green slime one.
Yeah, it was like green. You could get green ketchup or you could get purple ketchup, and I always liked the purple ketchup. Because it was purple. It didn't look normal.
See, mine
did it green?
Yeah, but you could find like an unripe tomato and it's like green. Like
I guess I see what you're saying.
Green was healthy. Green was evil. Green was healthy. Yeah. Purple was like mystical. Green was in.
Yeah. See, I had another idea was I wanted to have food tape, because you know when you're like eating a taco and it's just like falling apart, you know, like
dude.
Yeah, you have like tape that you just like tape it
like together. Fruit by the foot.
You should bring
thing?
all these ideas to like Shark Tank. I'm
Dude, why are these all food ideas, and why am I hearing about them now?
Well, I mean, foods. Who doesn't love food? Like I don't know.
That's a great point, but I'm just saying.
What does the world consist of? It's like, you know, food, school, sleeping, video games, like.
He's not wrong.
And that's like my thing. It was gonna be the slogan was the edible adhesive. Like it's got that whole alliteration. It's gonna be an amazing thing. I promise. If I ever, I even because it was like I think it came up because in like some business class I took in high school. They're like, oh, you got to develop some kind of product and sell it. And I made food tape, and I was like, I know everyone in my class was just like, I actually like this idea. Like it's actually kind of cool. But I was like, I don't like when you think about it. Like how can you have something that's a tape? And then when you eat it, it doesn't change the taco. So I was like, oh, I'd have to make like taco seasoning tape, then ketchup flavored tape for your burger.
It would have to be all different flavors of tape, yeah. I feel like my like entrepreneurial like ideas were not as they were more like practical. Like
what did you
Yeah. You were like, I don't know, maybe I'm just like unimaginative. I feel like so lame thinking about all the ideas I've had. I'm like, wow, I'm kind of boring.
She's just lazy when it comes to food. It just shows right now.
Yeah, I don't want to have to like pick up my taco after I'm done. I want to just eat it all in one. I'm sure
Yeah.
that people who are like, your technique is probably wrong.
Yeah, like taco yo-yo, you know, like roll it back to your mouth and just keep on doing it, man.
I wanted to make my own coloring book. Like I wanted to like do all the drawings and then like sell my own coloring book.
So were you an artist? Like I said, I know you went into animation. Was that something that you were into perhaps growing up, or just has always been a part of you?
Yeah, I've always been like a super artsy kid, like just like way into art. I grew up dancing. I mean, I grew up playing sports, but like I grew up dancing. I grew up painting and playing with clay and drawing, and yeah, I was hella artsy. In high school, I found a way to convince the art teacher to just let me take every art class possible, and then when I ran out of art classes, I just would make up my own and he would sign off on them, and I would just like have like an elective that would just be whatever art class I like came up
like
with.
You were artsy, but you also had like the social skills to like get around your art teacher, be like, hey, so you want to like
Yeah, I was a super weird kid. I did not have many friends in any school, but mostly middle school and high school. I did not have many friends, but for whatever reason, I always got along with everyone that was like so much older than me. Like in middle school and high school, like I got along with all the teachers. Like, so I knew how to like befriend all of the teachers so that I could get like away with shit.
We call
like
those people the teacher's pet, so no.
Yeah, except I wasn't a teacher's pet because I was a suck up. I was a teacher's pet because I like literally
they were actually cool.
You were on their level.
I was like on their level, like conversationally. Like I did not get like I couldn't conversate with anybody my own age, but like, you know, like I could definitely talk about like sports with like my science teacher, or like even like
look at the stock market today, you know.
Yeah, like, I was always like that weirdo who like for whatever reason got along with all the adults, and I've always been that way. Like I've always gotten along with all of my parents' friends. Like people like my dad's friends love me because I'm just like. But that's like I think more of like a cultural thing, but.
Yeah, people underestimate that. I know that because that's all like connections. Because you have like nicer teachers where they're like, "Oh well, I'll like let this grade slide."
Yeah, I'll let this slide. It's fine.
Like it's actually,
like I know you. You're good.
Yeah, I guess it's like you said, like with Twitch and networking, where it's like you didn't go out of your way to purposely like I'll befriend the teacher so I get good grades. It was just like It just kind of like they were like, "Oh well." I'm sure they probably they weren't lenient all the time. I'm not saying that every teacher was just like, oh, you know.
No, but I mean, like, it wasn't just teachers too. It was like I was a freshman and all of my friends were like seniors, or like in college I was a freshman and I had mostly junior friends. Like it was like I always got along. Even now, I'm like 24, and the coworkers that I hang out with are all 35 and up. Like it's always been that way for me, where like I do get along with the other 24, 25-year-olds that I work with, but those aren't the people that I hang out with in my free time. I hang out with all the 30-year-olds because for whatever reason I just get along with them.
I just like I know, for instance, from myself, like I get along with people that are older than me because honestly, when I was younger, I got really, I'm not saying like I was really into like doing immature things, but I noticed the difference between the maturity level of my friends back at like when I like my age compared to the older kids, and I got along with the older kids just because I knew I didn't want to hang out with people that were super immature, and then I'd actually go hang out with them, and then we talk about lamer things, and I'd notice that I go to bed like I'm like all my friends are like, I'm going out partying, you coming? I'm like, I'm gonna be in bed and just relaxing kind of thing, you know? So
yeah, I mean, also my brother is older than me, so growing up, like I hung out with him and his friends as well. So I think that's probably also where I got it from, was that like I grew up always hanging out with people older than me. So then I got along with people that were older than me. So then I never really figured out how to get along with people my age. And it's always been like that. It worked out in high school though, because like senior year when you could get like free periods, I crafted my schedule so that I had like 3 free periods in a row so that I could either come in, like they always cycled, so that some days I could like sleep in until noon and then go into school. And like other days I could leave at noon.
In high school? Like this
In high school. And like the thing is that like most of the time they would not let you do that. But because I was super like close with like the dean of students, I like went into the office one day and it was like 12:30 and I'm like signing myself out to go home. And he's like, "What are you doing? Like you can't leave. It's 12:30." And I was like, I can stay here and run around the school like a crazy person for the next 3 classes, or I can go home right now. And he's like, "Get the fuck out." Like,
he's probably like, "Is that a threat?"
I was like, I can cause trouble for the next. I was like, I have 3 free periods. I can bug you for the next like 4 hours, or I can go home. Like, what would you?
Did I do
like?
high school wrong?
Out here in your office now, and he's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
no, go home."
He's like, "Please leave. Please don't do that." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. Bye. See you tomorrow."
The thing is, y'all think that you hang out with older people. I always wonder, like, what people who are like older, like they hang out with younger people. What do they think? They're like, "Am I not like vibing with like my own people? I can only hang out like am I a younger person in an older person's body?" Like,
They're all immature.
yeah, it just turns out they're just immature or something.
They're all just like big man babies. No, I don't know. I don't know if they have any issue with hanging out with people younger than them. I have no idea. Just I know that I tend to get along with people older than me, so that seems like a them problem.
So we've talked about a ton of different things. I mean, obviously, how cool you are that you get to hang out with older people. We talked about your love for puns and art, but kind of bringing this all back in, what is something that you would tell an aspiring streamer that they should strive to do in order to put their stream to the next level?
I would probably tell them to not get comfortable. So like it's always good to find a routine. It's always good to have a consistent schedule. It's always good to like find your niche. But I feel like if you want to kind of try to boost yourself that extra step, because I mean you can grow a Twitch channel just doing the same thing every day. It's a slow grind. If you don't try new things, if you don't experiment, if you don't switch things up, if you don't plan special events every now and then, I mean, it's gonna be a slow grind. And some people like that, and that's, their thing. But if you wanna kind of like bring it to the next level, be creative. Like try and switch it up a bit. Try and, step out of your comfort zone, try new things. Just Dance for me was trying something new. I was not I didn't go into Twitch streaming Just Dance. It was something that I was very uncomfortable about doing in public. It was something I was very nervous about, and I decided to do it, and it literally changed my life and my channel and how I see streaming and how I go about streaming. And so also just doing creative events that are like more community based or more just like it's one time, it's like one time out of the month you do something crazy, and if it flops or it doesn't, and if it doesn't, it brings your channel up. If it flops, then you know not to do that one again. Like it's all about experimenting. You never know what's going to work. The internet is a very strange place, and so it's a little unpredictable, which is kind of fun because it gives you that room to be different and be weird and do different things.
Yeah, absolutely. I noticed that with you talking like this, you kind of brought in the aspect of art to kind of pull it all in. I know that a lot of people say being out of your comfort zone is when you're the most creative. And it seems like if you follow that same recipe, it seems very true to yourself, I guess. You really are a creative individual from what I've seen, and that's fantastic that that's kind of your mantra, because that really fits who you are.
Yeah.
But I just want to say thank you so much for coming on the podcast, and we truly appreciate having you on.
Thank you for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
And thank you for listening to this episode of the Rad Gaming Podcast. You can check out our guests by clicking the link in the description.
Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and rate and subscribe to us on iTunes or wherever else you listen to podcasts.
We release a new episode every Wednesday and Friday. And as always, stay rad, comrades.